Welcome to Dashboard Darts. I hope you're ready to aim at better student insights. We're going to learn about how we can explore mission control to track real-time learning that's coming in from SchoolAI. This is going to be really helpful for us to be able to plan next steps and how we can support our students in making sure that they feel confident about their learning. The first thing we're going to do is I want you to try a space. So we're going to do a quick pulse check where you're going to have about 3 minutes. Right here is the link, QR code, and the code to join the space. Just a reminder, you're going to go to schoolai.com. Once you're on the home page, it says space code. From here, this is where you can type in those 8 digits to join the space. So AWSMNJOV. Again, you're going to join the space. Once you join the space, we're going to be able to see you join mission control. So that way we can see kind of a quick pulse check of how are you feeling when it comes to using SchoolAI. We've learned a lot. How are you feeling? Are you feeling overwhelmed, excited, curious, ready to try it in your classroom? Or maybe you're feeling a little bit nervous about it as well. Go ahead and let us know how you're feeling when it comes to using SchoolAI. Again, you're going to have 3 minutes, so feel free to pause the video to complete that quick check-in. You'll notice that when you're in the check-in, you are going to get a question about how you're feeling. From there, I want you to share something that you've learned in the previous section of this session. We've chatted about Dot, and we learned how Dot can be our personal assistant. We learned about the Discover library and how we can create a quick space that has common learning activities. We also learned about prompting and how we can use Space Designer to help us create a great 4-step prompt. After you reflect on what you've learned so far in the session, I then want you to share what are you hoping to learn by the end? What is it that we haven't covered that you're a little bit curious about, or what's a little bit foggy that might be still struggling for you as an educator? So again, just take this moment. Let's do a quick pulse check, see how we're doing and what misconceptions we can uncover as we do this pulse check. All right, welcome back. I hope you had fun as you are exploring and sharing and reflecting in our pulse check. I want you to consider, did it feel helpful about your interaction? Did you see how you might be able to use a space like this within your classroom to check in on student learning? What I love about using pulse checks is my students are able to really reflect and they get feedback immediately from SchoolAI. If they get stuck or they don't know something, they can come in the chat and they're able to say, I don't know. Or if they need clarifying directions on something, they can ask all of those resources to get that scaffold support to help them to continue in that space. Pulse checks and spaces can be a great way to support with that flexible learning. We're able to engage our learning. We can also create that one-on-one personal learning. You might have noticed that some of my students, were just getting started, right? They were just kind of getting started. I am excited to learn more. And so as I'm just getting started, I'm going to be able to see the direction. Where this student over here wanted to focus more, their goal was to learn more about mission control. And Dot shared a quick summary about what is mission control, which you're going to learn about in this session. Where this student over here was able to share how they wanted to focus on using SchoolAI with their students. And so it helped them kind of think through different ways that they could use this to support student learning. This student right here wanted to kind of dive into using SEL to really support students. And again, they said that they didn't know, and I was able to see different suggestions that were provided to support that student's learning. So again, there's a lot of different kind of choose your own adventure, that personalized learning as students are engaging in that SchoolAI space. I love to use these pulse checks to build connection, build curiosity, and collaboration, where my students can start in the space with that think, then they can share with a partner, and then they can collaborate with the whole class. It gives my students a lot more confidence before they just share out loud. And so now we're going to kind of review those steps. Earlier, we learned how to launch a space. So again, we learned how to use space designer within our assistants. So if I go to schoolai.com, we were able to create by going to assistants and using Space Designer. We also learned about using the Discover library to create everyday spaces where we're able to quickly prompt and share what we would like to hope our students achieve with those learning goals. We also learned that if we go to create, there's this create button where we can create our own spaces for our students. So now what we're ready to do is, now that we've launched a space, we're now ready to view that live data and reports that are coming through. You can assign a space reminder through an LMS. You can also share it by a link, QR code, or by space code. And so now, again, we're ready to monitor that mission control data. To find your space that you might have already created for your students, you're able to come to Spaces and go down here to Sessions. So Spaces, Sessions. Once you go to Sessions, you're going to be able to find your most recent space right here. I can see that I have different spaces that I have launched, and I can see that this is the one that I would like to use. You can search also by title. You can also filter as well if there's a certain space that you want to filter that you've ended or paused, or you want to filter by maybe a tag that you have. Maybe you have added first period as a tag. You can filter by those as well. Right here's that Carnival check-in space that we were working through. I'm going to go ahead and click that space, and I can see here that I have 7 participants right now. From here, this is mission control. This is where I can see the live data coming in. Mission control also pops up after you launch a space. It's going to appear right away. I can add a tag. This is where I can add my periods, my class periods up here. So that way when I'm filtering, I can stay organized, quickly find information, and be able to ready to go as I need to maybe sort through first period data. I can also come over and see the 7 participants. I can see a quick sentiment of how they're doing and how they're feeling in this space. I can also see the headline of how my students are responding and kind of that quick headline of what's taking place. These 3 dots allows me to copy that student link if I needed to copy that link to see or reshare it with a student. However, if your students are logged in using Google or Microsoft, they will be able to remember their chat history. Right here where it says view chat, I can see that chat from that student, and I can see everything that that student is saying. I can pause the chat for that student. I can also remove a student if somebody joined accidentally. Over here, I can, again, kind of see those quick headlines, my students' names as they're responding. Over here are insights. And with insights, I can kind of see quickly how my students are responding in this space. I'm able to click and see a rationale as well to see what information is coming in. You can invite if there's a student that was absent. And again, you can share through learning management system or by QR code or by a link. You can also pause the chat. This will pause it for everyone, where these 3 dots will just pause it for this individual student. I can also end the chat as well if I want to end it. There are these 3 dots over here where I can download the CSV file, add collaborators, and even edit the space prompt. Maybe I noticed that my students were really struggling with a question. I can come in and change the question right here, and then I can relaunch it for my second period class or whatever class I might need. You can also scroll down right here, and I can find the sessions that are most active as well. The 3 dots with the collaborator, I can add a co-teacher into this space, and I'm able to really work with that co-teacher. They can see the data. They can help pull small groups as well. There's also this download a CSV. I'm going to go ahead and click it because I love to download the CSV to get even more data to support me with misconceptions and next steps. Before we head over to our CSV, we have groups where I can see, who is a ringmaster, who is mastering the content, which students are, boosting up, which students are at the duck pond drifters, right? I can see where all of my students are in these groups to help me kind of see who do I need to help? How can I use small groups? How can I support my students? What next steps are needed? These can be really helpful as I'm working with my students. And so now what we're going to do is, now that we've kind of viewed Mission Control, that live data dashboard where your students are able to chat live, you can see all of that information coming in as they're working. Now we're able to view with Dot and kind of analyze that data from our spreadsheet. This is just another way if you maybe want to plan or generate your instruction to support student learning. So now that we've got our mission control, I'm going to come over here to SchoolAI.com in another tab. And with SchoolAI.com, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign in. So again, I'm going to go ahead and sign in to SchoolAI. And once I sign in, I'm going to go over to Assistants. Dot is right here. It's the first one that we explored. And I'm going to click on Files. And from here, I can add in that CSV file that I had from that space. And from here, I can ask different questions to Dot to help me understand this CSV file and information coming in. You know, can you give me a summary of how my students are doing? What misconceptions do they have? I'm able to brainstorm with Dot this information. You could also upload another CSV from a different space or a different assignment and have Dot really help you compare and contrast those different CSVs from those spaces. Overall mood is mostly positive. A few are feeling overwhelmed or confused. What they say they learned. Here's a quick summary of what my students have learned. I can also see over here the hopes and the needs. What do they want to focus in on? So I can use this throughout my class period to really support. What misconceptions are there, right? And I can see what misconceptions there are within my classroom. Two-slide clarify mini, right? What is a space? What is mission control? I can use this information to really help me as I'm kind of building out these lessons. Don't forget, we've got those quick clicks down below where you're able to view more information about that data. Here I can see I've got what is a space. There's my mission control data. I can also say, you know, I need a parent-focused newsletter that's going to summarize this performance data. Using Dot to really go through that CSV file can be extremely helpful. And again, I just click on the three dots and I'm able to download that CSV file, go to my assistants, open up Dot, attach that file by going into the Files button down here. And once I upload that file, I can see how my students are doing and what information or misconceptions they might be having. I can chat with Dot and ask for more steps. Help me build out more scaffolds to make this learning sticky. Right? Help me design an entrance ticket for the next day on this information. This is going to really help me guide my instruction and support that instruction for my students. And so I want you to consider, what is one way you can use mission control data to better understand and support your students' needs? How do you plan to either use resources from mission control, or maybe you'll download the CSV, or maybe you'll add a collaborator and collaborate on this data with a co-teacher or an instructional coach? Think through how you're able to support your students with their needs using mission control data. Can't wait to see how you use data to inform your instruction to really support learners and their needs. Also, just a reminder that there are critical alerts. These will appear up here if your students say something inappropriate within that chat. And so that can be really helpful to know if there's an SEL related issue happening within the school. I can get those alerts right in my mission control to really see what is happening. How can I support my students? Is there anything I need to do? And you'll also receive an email alert with that alert as well. So again, that can just be a really helpful additional piece to know that you get those alerts. All right, can't wait to see how you use mission control data within your own classroom.